Hi, I'm Kevin. For the past 2 weeks I've been meditating. That's the reason why there isn't a new HomeKat video out for a while. And the reason why I've been meditating is because I've been trying to find a good video idea. I don't know if I've been awakened because there's a good video idea, but those air horns don't sound good. The real reason why I'm redoing this video is because last week I recorded the video, but once I put it into Final Cut Pro, I realized the microphone didn't work. So if this microphone doesn't work again, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably cry. Today we're going to be talking about Amazon air horn reviews. I've been working on a video for a while now. It's going to be a bigger project, and there's a scene in the video where I use an air horn. So I needed to look on Amazon to find the best air horn possible, because I didn't want to get a bad air horn or anything. So I looked at some air horns and I decided to read the customer reviews. And while reading the customer reviews, I learned that there's a whole world of air horn reviewers. And it is an incredible world. And I will share this world with all you guys today. So the first air horn I looked at was called Sabre. Sabre Compact Sport and Safety Horn. So I decided to take a look at the questions on this one. Some guy asked, would this work to break up a dog fight? I'm a groomer and want one on hand if needed. Robert B., bless him, came in and said, I really don't know. The first thing that I thought when reading this is, why would you answer someone's question by saying, I really don't know? If you don't know the answer, just don't respond. It sounds like this guy feels that it's his duty to reply to every single Amazon question, even if he doesn't know. Like, if you don't know, just don't respond. And if you're a groomer and you have a lot of dog fights at your dog salon, that's a problem. And using an air horn probably won't help it. I just feel like the dogs would bark even louder. This guy said, will this work to piss off my neighbors when I leave for work at 5:30 a.m.? Jim said, sure will. Once. So this guy, I think, is just kind of a big jerk and is like, well, my neighbors don't have to leave for work at 5:30 a.m., so maybe I'll piss them off, haha. I feel like this guy does not like his job, so he just wants to get revenge on his neighbors for going to work later. Someone had another question where they said, can I put it in my mouth? Christian Morris said, I suggest this only for the mentally challenged. I hear the sound tastes great, but I didn't try it. Let's give this man an A+. Thank you. Bless your intuition. Now this guy who is an Office fan said, is this the same company that bought out Dunder Mifflin? Isaac said, I think so. When I tried calling to complain about the small size, some guy named Dwight Schrute told me to piss off, LMAO. What? I don't even know what's going on with this Dunder Mifflin thing. I'm just confused. This guy said, is it loud enough to finally stop those scammers who call me every day to attempt to steal my information from calling me again, if used into the phone? Shane Welcher said, yes, loud and proud. Ha! Thank you, Shane. No, let's get into the actual reviews. Janet said, this is one heck of an alarm clock. This is one heck of an alarm clock. I have a teen that doesn't want to get out of bed. I've tried everything from splashing water to threats and punishments. This, however, is an attention getter. It is so freaking loud that my dogs run outside when we pull it out. It is tiny, however. Note that this can is about the size of a typical salt shaker, so I'm going to have to order another one soon. Now, I don't know how tired you have to be to not get out of bed if someone splashes water on you. Unless it's warm water and it feels good. Or maybe this leader's teenager isn't sleeping. Maybe they're just dead. Have you checked for a pulse? Danica gave it 5 stars and said, got my peace, quiet, and relax back. I got my relax back. My neighbor has 2 little dogs who will always be continuously barking at me whenever I'm doing things at my backyard. Tried to talk to the dog's owner, nothing changed. So I decided to resolve this issue. I read reviews how this horn works so well to scare the dogs away, but it's harmless to the dogs. Since the neighbor has 2 little dogs, I ordered 2 horns. When the dogs started barking at me, I faced the 2 horns directly facing their faces. I like that. I faced the 2 horns directly facing their faces and pushed the buttons maximum. The dogs right away rushed back into their house. Lol. That's awesome. Now I can do gardening at my backyard in peace, quiet, and relax. Thanks, Mr. Horns. You're wonderful. Now, I feel like maybe 1 air horn won't hurt a dog's ears, but 2 of them directly pointed at a dog's face? I could do some damage. And I don't know who this Mr. Horns is. Is he an imaginary creature that hides inside every horn? Because if so, that's a pretty good legend. Brian and Kristen Gonzalez gave 5 stars, and I really like this review because it is really blunt and just to the point. They said, gets the job done. Bought this for my little sister's graduation. While everyone clapped, I was able to provide my sister with a jaw-dropping and ear-hurting blast of noise that no human should have to endure. Not only was she the center of attention, but I was also kicked out of the graduation. Fantastic. Would buy again. So by this review, I think you can tell that the horn is pretty loud. If it provides a jaw-dropping and ear-hurting blast of noise that no human should have to endure, that's pretty loud. Catalin Carpenter said, loud enough to scare annoying neighbors. 5 stars. Now I feel like this person is just a jerk who's like, perfect for getting back at my jerk neighbor who lets his wife know he's home by honking the horn at 11 p.m. Gave him an early morning scare when I honked it to let him know I was leaving. Huh! That's just how I feel like their voices. Tanstoffel is a Vine voice. I wonder what that means. They give it 5 stars and they said, maybe this brought down the walls of Jericho. It sounds like this air horn is so loud it should not be allowed. Disclaimer, my wife will not let me use this again within 6 miles of her. She read the specs but still thinks it will carry that far. Your wife literally thinks it will carry 6 miles? Otherwise, I would never ever get within 6 miles of her. No, I didn't even hesitate before I agreed to her conditions. This guy just is trashing his wife. I didn't even hesitate before I agreed to her conditions. You might as well say, oh, she's a bitch. Perhaps that's enough said, but in case you don't read disclaimers, this is loud. What kind of a person do they think I am? Do they think I don't read disclaimers? What? And the trigger does not have a safety. I don't think air horn triggers need to have a safety. If you find an air horn trigger that has a safety on it, that air horn is definitely not up to code within the sound limits. Maybe if it sounds like a jackhammer right next to your ear, or a jet engine starting right next to your ear. But I don't think anyone's going to see you holding an air horn and be like, hey, always use safety. Make sure to handle an air horn as if it didn't have the safety on. What? Yeah. I wonder what would happen if you were cornered by some guy and all you had was that air horn and you took it out and you were like, time to die. Oh wait, I forgot to turn the safety off. Beep. Don't leave this around boys of any age, I guess. Don't leave it around girls either. They may gripe, but you know they want to push the button just as much as we guys do. I find that kind of confusing and sexist, but mostly confusing. Apparently girls are griping about not wanting to use an air horn. Okay, I had one of these when I was trying to race sailboats in decades past, just in case some larger boat wanted to claim right of way that it wasn't entitled to. That way I could use it to let the rescuers know approximately where I was. Too much fun, but valuable when needed. So I decided to look at another air horn because I feel like that air horn was too loud and too small. So I decided to look at this Shoreline Marine air horn. Someone left a question here where they said, is it loud enough to compete with my obnoxious new neighbor's car? I'm not sure if they're calling their neighbor obnoxious or their car obnoxious. Probably both. Wendy D. Johnson said, the first time I used it, it only sounded for a few sounds, and then started spraying ice-cold liquid all over my hand. In my opinion, it will not compete with your neighbor's obnoxious car. Hopefully your area has a noise ordinance law. I feel like that answer to that question is really all I need to know whether to get this air horn or not. And it's a no. If an air horn is spraying ice cold liquid on your hand, I don't think that's a good thing. Oh yeah, I just sprayed some ice cold liquid over my hand and had to get it amputated. No big deal. Jessica gave it 3 stars and said, Bear Country. This is a product that I didn't think I would be reviewing so quickly, but alas, I found myself chasing a bear off my property a few days ago when he was trying to get into a cooler full of Coors Light at 5 a.m. I sleepily grabbed my air horn that is positioned next to my front door and pressed the button. Nothing. After fiddling with the back of the unit for about a minute, it finally worked. A minute is an extremely long time when you consider that there is a 500-pound bear growling at me in my Yeti cooler, by the way. The bear went scrambling, but I felt like the horn left something to be desired. Maybe I was just sleepy, who knows? I definitely feel like the horn left something to be desired if it almost got you mauled. It didn't work after a full minute, that is kind of not a good sign. BLKS197 said scare tactics and gave it 5 stars. They said, works great for scaring my wife and kids. Hey, we all have our uses. So after that answer where they said it sprayed ice cold liquid over your hand, I felt like I was definitely not going to get that one. So I moved on to another one called K3 Brand's Horn. And we got a sad question here. They said, is this easy to use for a person who is elderly, almost deaf, and nearly blind, and 98 years old to notify people in the house that she needs help? Mono Jackson said, yes, the trigger is easy to pull. Eric Charles Cummert, he sounds like a very fancy man, gave it 5 stars and said, great for pissing off rich-ass snob golfers. Your name is Eric Charles Cummert. Your name sounds like you're a rich-ass snob golfer yourself. They said, great for pissing off rich-ass snob golfers. You can set this one off a quarter of a mile away and they don't know where to look for you. So is this just a rich-ass snob golfer that golfs and then he hears an air horn and he's like, hey, I'm gonna go on Amazon and let people know that that air horn is so loud. B. Schneider was very mad, gave it 1 star, said no good. Either their caps lock was on accidentally or they are just absolutely furious. Bought this because a bear broke into our home in the middle of the night. Same bear broke into 4 other homes within several days. I decided I needed some protection while walking my little dog. Worked the first time I tried it and then they never worked again. My neighbors suggested I go to Ace and get one, which is a bit larger and more reliable. Okay, this guy is obviously not pleased. Greg Rodriguez gave it 5 stars and said, sweet bliss. This is my favorite review. I bought this to drown out my wife's incessant whining. Let me tell you folks, the ungodly high volume of this horn is quite depressing. Don't want to hear about my mustache trimmings on the sink? Air horn. Don't want to listen to the constant moaning about leaving my socks on the floor? Air horn. Compared to the demon noise that comes out of that woman's mouth, this horn is like listening to Yo-Yo Ma play cello suite number 1 in G major. This guy does not think highly of his wife at all. I decided to look at it. Are there air horn called aerosol air horn? One question said, every time I say a Trump meme, am I allowed to blow the MLG horn? Scales 924 said, yes sir. DW Bid 42 said, very loud. Give it 5 stars. All I can say is if you're looking for loud, then this will do it. I accidentally set it off while my wife and daughter was in the same room, and if looks could kill, I'd be long gone. All our ears were ring for 10 minutes afterward. This guy gave it 4 stars and said, they should rename this unit WTD, Wake the Dead Model. Sounds loud. The actual physical Why am I doing a Kermit voice? I'll Kermit me for you. Yazdacast said, jeez, that thing is loud. 4 stars. I fired it upstairs, and my wife, who was downstairs, about fell off her chair. I don't think that the plastic portion fits on the can as well as some other reviewers have said, but A, maybe I'm doing something wrong, and or B, that doesn't really matter. So it doesn't really matter if cold spray starts spraying out and kills you. If you need something to sound an alarm or call for help, this will do the job. Just don't be surprised when that help starts arriving from the next country, because I'm reasonably sure they can hear it from there as well. Lucky Lady gave it 5 stars and said, Good golly, Miss Molly, hold your ears. Now I feel like this person is just an old lady who doesn't like modern technology, because the way she words it, it sounds like it. Yes, by all means, these air horns really do the trick, whatever that might be. They are a little louder than I hoped for, but not loud enough to actually be a problem. If you happen to be a practical joker, oh my, the images this brings to mind. What images? Because I think of bananas. It's not a truck horn by any means, but it will get a smart car out of your way. So, for some reason this person has something against smart cars. Oh, those Teslas? I don't like those. Let me honk them. That is all, folks. I'm still not sure which air horn I'm gonna get. If you like my new setup, leave a double like. Leave a triple like. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.